Let me tell you about a story. Now we men are talk bound about that law enforcement, a right bunch of clowns, how they wear their badge like a plastic crown, how they're sticking to a story of which they are now bound. It's a rabbit hole they don't want you to go down, but over in Wisconsin, they're doubling down.
Hello everybody, this is Eric Jose on Making a Murderer on YouTube. I cover the Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey cases, but also as time passes I've been covering other cases such as the Staircase or OJ and many wrongful convictions of youth. I go over the documents, the photos, the videos, anything case related, so stay tuned because I have many more videos just like the one you're about to see. Hello, going through some of Zellner's tweets today. Just a quick video here. Thought this one was interesting because those of you who watched my video about, where I played the audio clip of Mark Williams calling KZ's voicemail. And, I was saying that it's weird that he thinks like, if the bones are in the bag, that's like a good thing or better or something. I mean, I thought that was odd that he would say that. Well, here we have KZ saying, do not know if Wisconsin realizes it, but any bones remain in the bag, they will have to be tested to determine if human or not, and the statute will still be violated regardless. It's called a conundrum. Well, they were supposed to notify Stephen and his counsel, which they didn't. I mean, they just did it all wrong, and then you can see that they were trying to hide what they did. And it becomes pretty obvious, but I saw somebody asking what conundrum means, and conundrum essentially just means a very difficult or hard to solve problem. An example it used is like, for instance, trying to get a job that requires experience. And how do you get the experience? Well, by doing the job, but you can't get the job without experience. So that's just like one example they use of a conundrum. So, and that's what the state is in right now. The fact that they gave these bones back in violation of statute is the fact that they're gonna, even if they come up with one bone, they're still in violation of the statute. And that's what she's saying, that even if the one bone is in the bag, the hip bone, 8675, if it is in the bag, there's still a whole bunch of other bones that she asked to be tested, which the paperwork clearly indicates were given back. So it's interesting. I just thought this was interesting because she addressed it, because I had, thought it was odd that he, seemed to be hoping that it would be in the bag and that would make this all better or something. So she clearly is addressing that here, saying, no, that doesn't make it any better. They still, clearly some of the bones have been disposed of, and that's in violation of the statute. So no matter what, this is going to be coming back to the violation of the statute, even if that one bone is in the bag. So anyways, thought that was interesting. Let's move on to another tweet. Hello. Hey, so some of you may have seen a tweet from my good buddy Paul, who he had gotten an email response from Mark Wiegert, and in the email Mark Wiegert talks about he stands behind everything that was done and on, right? So it's funny that he says that with everything that's coming out now, with them hiding, the fact that they were giving these bones back, and we find out that he really was a big part of it, right? So this is from the Rolling Stone article that Travis was talking about last night. And, like I said, I'll show you guys Paul's tweet here in a minute where he shows part of the email response. But here we have Calumet County Sheriff's Department Deputy Jeremy Hawkins states in 2011 police report that Sergeant Investigator Mark Wiegert and attorneys Thomas Fallon and Norm Gahn, Thomas Fallon is the one that Mark Williams was trying to call and say and tell him that he hoped the bones were in the bag. Norm Gahn is the one who wrote the statute that's basically about to bite them all in the butt. Anyways, we're involved in the removing of the bones from evidence control. Wiegert was a lead investigator in the case, while Fallon and Gahn were on the trial prosecution team. Fallon is now an assistant attorney general, and he and Gahn continue to represent the case on behalf of the state of Wisconsin as Avery appeals his conviction. Rolling Stone sent Fallon and Gahn a detailed request for a comment on the claims outlined in Zellner's court filings. A spokesperson for the Attorney General's office replied to say that they cannot comment on ongoing litigation. So, oh, you mean just like the voicemail that Mark left Zellner for Tom Fallon? Anyway, let's just shut up and not say anything. Sounds like more of the same when Rolling Stone asked. So I think that's interesting. So I'll go ahead and show you guys a bit of Paul's tweet now, but I just find this all pretty interesting. You know, Rolling Stone is pointing out something here that I think is very interesting. And like I said, you know, you got Tom Fallon. He's the one that Mark Williams was trying to call to say he hoped that the bones would be in the bag, when Tom Fallon knows they're not because he was there. Norm Gahn, the one that wrote the statute that was meant to preserve this evidence, and he's there giving it back. I mean, the irony here is just, you know, thick. Anyways, let me go ahead and show you Paul's tweet where he shows the response, the email response from Wiegert. All right, so this is a tweet from my buddy Paul, basically talking about Queso Sheriff Mark Wiegert stands behind everything done in the case. So would that include handing back the possible bones to the hall box? Well, we know he was there with Tom Fallon and Norm Gahn, right? So he shows, you know, Paul's showing a bit of the response he got from Mark Wiegert here. Thank you for your concern. As you are aware, both cases are still in the appeal stage, so it wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment about either case, other than to say I am 100% certain of their guilt and stand behind everything done in the case. I hope someday to be able to answer all your I'm not sure, he must have just got a little confused there and hit ER twice. All your questions. If you have a chance, you may want to read former prosecutor Ken Kratz's book. Sincerely, Lieutenant Mark Wiegert. Yeah, Ken Kratz's book. The one where he starts talking about your goatee, he acts like it's, you know, storytelling hour, and he's, you know, yeah. When I was reading Ken Kratz's book, I was just like, was he, you know, do you think this was creative writing class or something? I mean, this is not a creative writing book. And he was just embellishing with a lot of, like, what I would call unnecessary detail, but I don't know. Anyway, it was just odd to me. So anyways, but this was just interesting to hear him say he stands behind everything done in the case, right? You know? Yeah. So anyways, just a few things I wanted to show everybody today. I may do something a little later on today. I'm not sure just yet. I'll have to let you guys know at that point. But wanted to go over a few tweets here today and a few funny things that I noticed. So anyways, that's about it. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you.
My name's Stacy Seabrook, and I approve Eric Jose on Making a Murder to be able to use my songs on his channel. Thank you. Wisconsin can be so cold. The scales of justice can erode. If we accept lies big and bold, we forget we live on Avery Road. We live on Avery Road. in everything that we are told. I live on April